Hi, I'm Governor Chris Gregoire. Washington is known for innovative leadership in business, technology, and high-quality agriculture. To continue our success and keep our economy strong, we must invest in our healthcare system, our education system, and workforce. Many Washingtonians have been unable to participate in our state's economic prosperity because of mental illness. In fact, it's estimated that 80% of individuals served by public mental health systems are unemployed. However, innovative programs across the country have demonstrated that with minor accommodations and the right support, individuals with the most severe mental illnesses can be productive, valued employees. Today, you will hear the success stories of several individuals who live with mental illnesses and whose lives have been transformed by their employment. Through their successful efforts at work, they've participated and contributed to Washington's growing economy and offer hope to others struggling with similar difficulties. Join me in celebrating their success and triumph over an illness that can create significant barriers for many in Washington. More importantly, join me in helping Washington become a leader by providing opportunities for those living with mental illness. Thank you for your efforts and dedication to public service.
Maybe the sun will
I want to
shine today.
be an LPN med treatment nurse.
I want to be a clerk.
The
I want
clouds
to be a
will
librarian
blow away.
again.
I want to be an administrator.
I would like to be a
Maybe I won't feel so afraid.
I'd like to be a janitor.
I would like to be secretary in a veterinarian's office.
I want to be an office worker.
I want to be a cook.
I will try to understand.
I want to be a social worker.
Either way,
I would like to be a police officer.
I want to be a computer programmer.
I love to be an accountant.
I would want to be employed.
Mental illness, including depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder, is common in all societies. Estimates suggest that nearly 1 in 4 of us will experience a diagnosable mental illness in our lifetime. Most of us know family, friends, or coworkers who have.
maybe the sun will shine today.
Employment is a pathway to social integration, financial stability, and improved self-esteem.
The clouds will roll away.
I really enjoy working. I grew up on the farm, so I've worked real hard all my life. When I've went through the testicular cancer and I went through this injury on my with the 2x4 that came off the forklift, and I've got an implant in my chest. It's a TENS unit. I got a damaged nerve here on the right side of my head. I turned into depression. I turned to the alcohol and the drugs, and that made my depression worse. I've laid down and just be in bed, don't care, life stinks, you know, nothing is worth anything anymore.
I've been in healthcare since 1970. The largest staff I had for 17 years was 100 people with 85 residents. We have 38 employees here at Carol Lee's. And Rob is one of our employees who does not miss work, who gets to work on time, and he's really in that high 1%.
I got tired of being in my bed. When my life turned around and I got this job, and 5 years ago working for this living home, my life picked up. I felt like a productive human being.
Rob is a very good worker. He's very dedicated to whatever he does.
Makes my heart happy when I get to see other people happy. I really like doing a lot of work for the elderly. And I ended up here 2 years ago starting a moving company. And then I started a maintenance company, a handyman maintenance, yard maintenance company. There you go.
He's been very successful with his moving. He loves, because he moves a lot of seniors, and there's a big need for that. But he has a great capacity for learning more because he's always seeking knowledge.
Oh, you're not going to have a more dedicated person.
I'm there every day. I only missed one day in 2 years.
I did the very best I could, and I was excellent at what I did.
Most of us are really knitted with a lot of support around us.
And they're probably the most honest employee you have.
I like structure. I like doing the same thing over and over.
They will give you $1 million smile that you won't even understand why.
Probably most people in our society, having employment is a significant part of their well-being and their self-worth. In 1973, I decided to run for the Seattle City Council. And while I lost the primary, I luckily won the general and became one of the youngest people ever elected to the City Council, and also I think the first person to ever defeat an incumbent. And so it was a tremendously exhilarating and satisfying experience. I remember the evening that we got the news, everybody who'd been involved in the campaign was really ecstatic about the results. And everything was going fine in my life until I experienced a series of psychotic episodes that would occur about 5 or 6 times a day. As you may remember that 5 years before, Tom Eagleton had been thrown off the Democratic national ticket because he had admitted he'd had a mental illness, and I was running for re-election to the City Council. I assumed that my career was over, maybe my family life would be over. I was one frightened person. I didn't really know what to do. Fortunately, my wife and my father provided a lot of support for me. My father came to me and said that if I was going to continue in a political career, I had to tell the truth about my illness to anybody who asked. I would recommend not going out and giving speeches on it, but start with your family, start with people that are close to you. And at least for me, it's eliminated this problem of the stigma. Well, the more people that do it, I think the less impact the stigma will have. The problem is now that there's so many people who are coping with a mental illness, but for a variety of reasons, they're afraid to talk about it to anybody. And if those people spoke about it the same way they speak about cancer and diabetes and heart disease, I think it can have an immense impact. Many employers don't take the efforts to be welcoming, to make it clear to people that if they are open about their mental health, it's not going to impact their employment. They can make it clear that the company will not discriminate in any way against someone who has a mental illness. They will be supportive. They will provide comparable health insurance for mental illness as they do for physical illness, basically mental health parity, and they will provide referral and counseling and other services that people may need, and just in how they deal with people. And my boss is a perfect example. I am completely comfortable in talking about my mental illness and what I've had to cope with and so forth in my work environment. Hopefully I'll be able to spend quite a bit more time with my family. I probably work too hard now. I'm so passionately attached to my mission of improving the health system and particularly improving mental health care.
One of the first things I did when I got this job is I opened a savings account.
Well, I put God first, but I like the money.
I didn't have to go to the thrift store and get the dress I wanted. I could go to Sears and get it.
Probably the most important thing is I've been able to build a credit rating for myself.
My dream in the future is to be self-sufficient. I don't want to always be. I haven't always been on welfare and been helped by the state I've lived in. I've at one point been independent to myself, and I want that again. When you go to a party, the first thing they ask you is where you work. What kind of work do you do? So if you were in social circles, you had something to talk about. And when you went to church, they'd say, well, where do you work? You know, what kind of work do you do? What answer do I give them? You don't want to lie. Well, I could phone it up and say, well, you know, I'm exploring a career, but I didn't want to ask those questions. The self-doubt came when I was in the camp with all the other people. I wanted them to get their places. That's the reason I stayed homeless as long as I did. I just didn't believe anybody would hire me. That was my biggest barrier. I just had to get over that. And so when I found out that there was a possibility I could go to work, I began to think of the ways I could help my family, basically, in my church. I interviewed at the University of Puget Sound and got turned down because they could only hire so many people. Those of us that didn't get it, we were just like, it's just another thing in our lives, just another turn down. I was crying, and Randy, that works at PLU, he was crying a little bit too. He just said, Lenora, he said, you know, they need more workers at PLU. Go see Jeff.
I've got students who, you know, they think if they're going to be here within the hour of when they're scheduled, they're doing a great job and don't bother to tell me. If I go advertise in the Tacoma News Tribune, the applicants I get aren't necessarily those who, yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll, you know, do some hard work and make some money. Generally, that's a position that can be difficult for us. The Rose House team comes in, they do a great job, they have a desire to work and get back in the workforce, sort of expand some of their knowledge and abilities. These are what we call entry-level temporary jobs for the most part. 4 of the people who ended last year all want to come back this year. I was able to get 3 of them into more skilled, higher level positions.
At that point, I didn't want to think about going to another interview. So finally, the job developer at Rose House and I got together and I said, well, I'll go put the thing in, but it won't work. I'll just do it to please everybody else. So I did. I did the application, and then he called me in and I gave him a resume. And my resume mostly was home care. And then he asked me if I wanted to work for him. He looked dead in the eye and he said, you want to work for me, Lenore? I said, yeah, I think I do want to work for you. And I didn't feel that, you know, that grab your heart desire that you were going to be employed until I got the call from Jeff, and Jeff says, well, Lenora, I guess on the 30th of August, you'll be my employee. And I laughed and cried at the same time. I said, what? You want me to work for you? At that moment, I realized it was real. And that made me like everyone else. Made me a citizen of Washington and not just someone that goes to some facility to get what's left over. That's what employment gives me. If I decide I want steak, I don't have to say, oh God, is it $2.50 a pound? I know it's $2.50 a pound, but I also know I have this paycheck coming in. A little over a month after I started working, Jeff came to me and said that his lead that he had for the weekend was not going to be employed anymore, and would I like the job? And I said, no, I don't want it. And he said, you'd be perfect for it, Lenora. Why don't you just try it? And also, I didn't want to feel like the members at Rose House would think I was better than they were, and that had been given to me and not them. And when I told him why I wouldn't take the lead, he said, you know what, I'll have to let you know a little secret I wasn't supposed to tell you, but your team wants you to do it. They think you're the perfect person to do it. And so I said, wow, that was quite an eyeball effect. So I said to myself, I said, well, I can't let them down if they need me.
I really do think there's a growth path for Lenora. Entry-level supervisory positions. On the same notion, if she went for more of a front-of-the-house customer service point, I think she'd be excellent at that.
But it just makes me feel kind of giddy inside that somebody really wants something I have to offer. And it makes me feel complete, so when I go to church and they'll say, well, how's the work, Lenora? Oh, it's doing great. You know, it's hard and it's sweaty, but it makes me feel like I'm whole again, that I'm doing my weight, I'm carrying my own load, and that I'm shooting toward that dream of self-sufficiency, and I don't see it that far away. I believe in my heart of hearts that it will happen, that anybody that wants to work, if they have the right supports and they have the right commitment to themselves and the state commits to them, that there will be a potential for anybody and everybody to work.
when I got the job at Shenanigans. We were so happy. Me and the Rose House, everybody was so happy. My parents, my sisters, family was so happy I got a job finally. So.
It's like you've been asleep for a long time and you wake up. It's just wonderful.
I just felt good about myself because I was accomplishing something, you know.
Made me feel like a normal person.
It feels good to be able to do something, that you have some creative talent.
The people you've met today give us a glimpse of employment's transformative impact on people with mental illness. When they have opportunities and support, not only does the individual benefit, so do communities and businesses. Please join us in making Washington a national leader by substantially increasing the employment of people living with mental illness.
And when you look at us and our new duds, our shiny teeth, our new cars, you made it possible.
I am a consumer aide.
I'm a file clerk.
I'm a salesperson.
I'm a politician.
I'm a dishwasher.
I'm a cook.
I'm a driver.
I'm a dish room lead.
I'm a business owner.